And we are live. Hi, everybody. My name is G Brown, G Brown, the lifestyle changer. And I have a girl crush. Don't tell, don't tell. I have seen her on so many. You have no idea how I've tried like to find you because you talk about me so much. What does
Mhm.
that mean? Because I'm a girl and you are on those hormones and you know stuff. And so everyone, without further ado, Dr. Elizabeth Bright. I'm so honored because it's 11-ish here, but she's actually in Rome, Italy. And when I talk about this carnivore diet and how doctors are willing to give their time and to educate all of us, it's phenomenal. So without any further ado, Dr. Bright, what would you prefer me to? I have to put doctor on it, honey, because you did way more schooling than I have. All
But you
right.
can call me Elizabeth Giselle.
All
Thank
right. All right. Can you start off, just tell everyone just a little bit about you, and then we're going to punch in on these questions that I have.
Okay, well, I am an osteopath, and I started seeing patients, women mostly of a certain age with certain conditions that my osteopathy did not improve. So I went back to school and became a naturopath. And I literally started the carnivore diet when I went into menopause myself. I'm 61, so at 52, so I've been doing this for 9+ years. And it's my one of my main treatment modalities for people who see me.
Okay, perfect. So let everyone hi Bruce, let me just say I prefer to have a 30-minute powerful interview than us
Mhm.
just talking for a whole hour talking about nothing. So I'm going to hit in on these questions really quick. Can you
Okay.
explain how the carnivore diet impacts female hormones? I'm really talking about me. Um, how our hormones are different than men. And I will say, since I've been carnivore, it'll be a year this month. And I am experiencing things differently. That's one of the main reasons. So give us really quick, what's the difference, men and women? And if you want to throw in some carnivore stuff, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Well, carnivore stuff because all the hormones both. There's not really that there's a difference. Is that we women have babies and men don't. Women make sexual characteristics so they're bigger than men, different body parts. Men don't. So they just need more. All steroid hormones are made out of animal fat. The liver makes some of it, cholesterol, but that's mostly for the brain. So we have to eat it, or else we're not going to have enough to make hormones. And I wrote 2 books about this. The first book is Good Fat is Good for Women Menopause, because I was so horrified by the image that was depicted on everywhere in medicine, online, about menopause. Menopause is a wonderful evolutionary step that made it so we didn't die at 50 because we had babies until we died. So literally menopause saved us to live a really long life and be grandmothers and take the tribe to show them the hunting grounds. That's really what menopause is about, to keep us alive, because making babies is incredibly nutritionally expensive. Carnivore diet enables you to have adequate fat to make the hormones, but there are many things in our society, in our diet, in our lifestyle, in our surroundings that interfere with our being able to make those hormones properly, and one of them is a low fat diet.
I mute myself. Okay, so things that change with me, since we're on this portion, things that change with me. I talk about, let me give you 11 years ago, I had the gastric sleeve. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't share that with anyone because I felt like I was a failure for
Mm-hmm.
having to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I was um at that time in my husband loved me, all was well. I just wanted to be smaller. That's all I saw was smaller. And now I understand smaller does not mean healthy. So I
Right.
need to throw that out there. Smaller does not mean healthy. And with that, oh, okay. I got distracted. I saw a thing up there. And with that, that's so now I have the gastric sleeve, 11 years in as of April. And I've been vegan. I know how to manipulate food. And of course, growing up, I believed in the calorie deficit, not understanding the hormones. We don't sit down and have these type conversations. I think now we sit down with our girls and let them know about their periods and all of that. I remember coming on mine, and I just remember my mother. Y'all, this is a whole sidebar, but I really have to say this, show you the difference in time from where I was born to now. In the middle of the night, we did not flush the toilet because of the piping would wake people up. So you use the bathroom, and you now if you have a number two, of course, you have to flush the toilet. So I use the bathroom. Next thing I know, I'm back in bed, get ready to go back to sleep. My mother is in there. She's all excited and all this other stuff. And I'm looking at her and she's like, oh my God, you've started. You're a woman now. And I'm looking at her. What are you talking about? And she told me, and then I burst into tears.
Mhm.
That was the most horrific thing. You gonna tell me I'm turning 13. I'm getting ready to walk around and blood is falling out of me. Then back then, you had to have this huge Kotex pad to put on. Now I know everybody is going to see this big old. How do you even walk? Yeah. So that I have disliked my cycle my entire life, except when it might have been, oh Lord, please let my period come so I'm not pregnant type thing. Other than that, that is nothing to jump up and down about. I
Well,
have a total hysterectomy. That was for me. I had a total hysterectomy in 3 surgeries because I kept trying to hold body parts, not wanting to give them up. They told me it was endometriosis, all this other stuff. So now, moisture, I have never had a problem with. But since the carnivore diet, I'm having issues now. So, in that mindset, because when they cut my stomach, this sensor, I forgot what it's called. I know the ghrelin that
right.
makes me right that I'm hungry. I don't
Mhm.
get that. So I
Mhm.
literally, if I get busy, I made myself eat this morning because I didn't know how long this was going to go if I had something to do afterwards. So I try to eat first thing in the morning, and that might be what I have until later. I see myself getting smaller, but I don't believe I'm getting healthier. I need to be fixed. And that's where you come in. Fix me, Elizabeth. Fix me,
Oh,
girl.
well, just the fact that you had his endometriosis would mean you had an iodine deficiency, which is exactly what adolescent girls need. Unfortunately, what my second book is about, Good Fat is Good for Girls, Puberty and Adolescence. Puberty is coming very young, and girls are menstruating at 7 and 8. And that is all because of a high carbohydrate diet and not enough iodine. So women evolved to menstruate, evolved at 16, 17, 18. That is when we were supposed to start menstruating, not so young. So the issue of pregnancy wasn't really an issue as much because in the Stone Ages, an 18-year-old was old enough to have a child. Somebody who's
Mm,
menstruating at 7 or 8 is definitely not mentally or physically. So the carbohydrates, the high carbohydrate diet, raise estrogen levels.
mm.
So there's a whole irregular hormone. All the hormones are already irregular in adolescence.
Wow. Okay. Let me play one. I'm gonna read this one because that'll happen faster. There's a young lady that I've been working with,
Hmm.
and this is what she wrote me. She said, "What meat or protein is best for combating hormone deficiency?"
Fat. You need animal fat. Protein is what you build muscle out of, enzymes out of. but you need the fat. And I would always say beef ruminant would be the best because it has the highest level of iron. That you can't get any more iron. No animal protein has as much iron as animal fat does. As beef does.
Right. Okay. So when people say get in more fat,
Mm-hmm.
if you are just new to carnivore or anything, what does that look like? Is that and you say the beef one. So I know for me, if I do ground beef, I add extra tallow to it.
That works. Yeah,
And
or butter. Tallow, butter. You can make your own tallow. You can have people make bone broth, which is pretty fatty. You literally have to the female or a female who has some menstrual issues would need more fat than the man would, just because of our equipment, uterus and ovaries and breasts. Those things, those organs, they need iodine and they need animal fat. They need cholesterol. They don't need avocado oil. They don't need olive oil. They need animal fat. And it could be lard if we know that the reason why beef is slightly better is because lard could be a little bit inflammatory to people who have very sensitive who have like autoimmune issues, because pigs are carnivores but they're fed corn, so that makes them have a slightly higher rate of omega-6. But their egg yolk is not really a fat because it's half fat, half protein. So yeah, adding the butter or the tallow is perfect.
Okay. She also asked, she suffers with swollen ankles. I think October 1st is when she became carnivore. She said, how to combat? Are there any cases with complete reduction? Okay. So how to take care of these swollen ankles of hers?
Is she eating salt? Does she add salt? You can't go carnivore and not add salt.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
may, yeah.
She's using Himalaya and real salt.
All right.
So she needs to use more. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, you need a lot. You need a minimum of a teaspoon. I'm sorry, of salt. Just doing nothing. If you're running around, you might need more salt. So it might not be enough to just salt your food.
Okay.
How on earth do I interview people?
Oh, wait. I'm trying to find her next one. You'll actually hear her voice.
Okay, so if I'm already
All right. This is hers. This is another young lady. She says,
perimenopausal, I'm trying to eat more fat, but the fat just kind of makes me want to throw up. I, for some reason, keep ending up closer to 75-25, 70-30, but 80-20. It just feels like it's impossible to get that. And when I eat that, I feel really puffy and I feel like I'm gaining weight really quickly. So is there ever a time, because I'm already perimenopausal, I'm having 21 day cycles, and then a 45, and then a 21, and then a 44, and I'm super crabby, I'm having tons of symptoms and gaining 13 pounds in a cycle, so I'm definitely perimenopausal. Is there any suggestion besides add fat to my diet? Is there ever a time when the bioidentical hormones, if you're working with someone you trust who's a functional medicine who understands that if you add this to that'll affect this, which will affect this, it's not just a cure, it's a band-aid while you work on the root cause? Is that ever appropriate, or are there other ways to heal this perimenopause that's driving me nuts?
yeah. Okay, so with that
thing is perimenopause. There's no such thing. There's fertile, there's not menopause. There's menopause. There's fertile, not fertile, and there's menopause. Perimenopause was invented in the 80s. It doesn't exist. Check thyroid. There's something wrong with, there's either iodine, maybe iodine.
So since you said iodine, and I have my iodine here, and I shared this with Dr. Bright prior to, it's in this box only because of how it arrived to me. And it got all these warnings and stuff on it, and I was afraid, y'all. So when I ordered 2 bottles, one for me, one for my husband. Do men need iodine?
Well, they have prostates. Oops, did I do that?
Okay, no, that's all right. I love that. So
Okay,
these,
so I don't. Can I see the bottle? Is it a J?
okay. Oh, no, I'm
brand?
gonna take it. I'm gonna take it out. Because it has sat in here, and you can see.
Oh yeah, that looks okay. Lugol's, yeah.
Yeah. So all it is that this other one, I know that it leaked out some on the outside of the
Well,
bottle.
no, iodine will vaporize. It may have just made everything brown. If you iodine will. There's the bottle can't hold it in. If I have my iodine in a white cabinet, the cabinet will turn brown because it turns into a vapor. Now it'll go away. If I drop a drop of iodine on a white chair, 2 days later it'll be gone because it just turns into vapor.
This is okay. So on here it says 0.25, 0.575, and 1 milliliter. How much should I take?
What percentage is that iodine? Lugol's, it has to be Lugol's, right? It says Lugol's on the bottle.
2%.
So it's either 2%. Okay, so you need to start with 4 drops.
Okay, it says distilled water. Okay, potassium
iodide and elemental iodine. So
yeah.
Elemental iodine is what makes it dark color. Potassium iodide is clear. So you've got the wrong iodine if it's clear. The right iodine is brown like that.
Okay, and I need to do.
You say 4 drops. Start with 4 drops.
4 drops a day.
Yeah.
Do I put this under my tongue in water?
Put it in water. Put it in water. Yeah, it'll burn if you just put it on your tongue. Okay.
See, hey, look. All right. So 4 drops, and then what am I looking for to know? Do I increase what is it that we're doing here?
Well, there is something called the patch test, which is what I usually tell people about. You put a drop on your wrist, and you want it to last 24 hours. If it doesn't last anywhere near that, you need more than the 4 drops. But you do it twice because you take it 5 days, then you stop for 2 days. It's detoxing. Then you take it 5 days, and you stop for 2 days. That's called the patch test. And then after you test again. So you do patch test once, you take it for 5 days, you stop for 2 days, take it for 5 days, stop for 2 days, and you patch test again. It may last longer or it may last fewer hours because we all have fluoride in us and bromide and crap from which are halides and which are attaching to the iodine receptors and prevent the absorption of iodine. So you could take those 4 drops and it wouldn't go into you. It wouldn't go where it needs to go because you have these halides.
Okay, and how do you get past that? Oh my God.
You do what I said. You do the 5 days on, 2 days off, 5 days on, 2 days off. And then you usually have removed the halides, which will make it so you can absorb the iodine. So depending upon if it lasts 3 hours, you're going to need more than 4 drops.
Okay, so for the slow people in the back that heard this, I'm going to take 4 drops today and put in my water. And I'm going to do this 5 days on, 2 days off. Okay.
You're going to put a drop on your wrist first. And then
do I do the drops today or do I do them in 5 days?
You got to test it. Put a drop on your wrist now.
I'm scared to open the bottles though.
Why?
I know. Because I got to wash them off. Look at
You don't have to wash it off. It's just vapor. It's just iodine.
All right. I'm trusting. Okay. Do I shake it? No,
don't shake it.
Oh, okay. Listen, I'm telling you, I am from the standard American diet. All right. I'm from the food
part of the standard American diet. Wasn't
I'm saying it's like, okay, so this is what it's looking like.
Okay, so just put 1 drop on your wrist.
I'm gonna do this one. That's 1 drop. Okay.
Rub it in, like.
Oh, okay. Because I was like,
Okay, and now what time is it? Yeah, what time is it?
11:30.
All right, so check 11:30 tonight. See how brown it is. If it's gone, you need more than 4 drops.
Okay.
But that's what you do the second time. Now we've only done the first one, right? Now you take it for 5 days. You record how long that patch lasts. And then you take it for 5 days, you stop for 2 days, you take it for 5 days, you stop for 2 days. Then you do what you're doing now, you do it again. And then you record how many hours it lasts.
And what are we looking for with this?
That's going to disappear.
Oh, I know. So 11, no. All right. So 11:30 p.m.
The faster it disappears, the more iodine you need.
Okay. So what's a good, if my iodine was okay, what would this eventually?
18, 24 hours.
18, 24 hours, and then it'll go away. But then if by tonight that it's gone, then do I still go with the 4 drops, or I need to just do 5?
But you have to do the 4 drops so you're done with the 2 weeks, because the second test is the one that tells you how many. Because now you're detoxing. Those next 10 days are going to be, it might last for 24 hours, but that might be fluoride. Next time you do it, it might last for 3 hours.
Gotcha. All right. Next one. This is from hold on.
Good morning, Dr. Bright. I have a question about iodine. So I heard you saying that most of us are iodine deficient, and I started taking 2 drops of iodine in my morning coffee. Now I've increased it to 4 drops. Should I be concerned at all with having iodine and have not been tested for iodine deficiency?
Okay.
No, it's an essential nutrient. Everybody needs it. Any test you do would be testing radioactive iodine, so it would be had nothing to do with what you're doing, because that's organic iodine. There is a place in the U.S., in Michigan, I think, the Hakala Labs. If you want to do that, they give you 50 milligrams of iodine, and they collect your urine for 24 hours, and then they can measure how much iodine you pee out to see how much you need. If you pee out a ton of iodine, that means you don't need much, but you need some. Everybody needs it. It's an essential nutrient. It's like saying we don't need salt. Everybody needs iodine.
Okay. So many women struggle with maintaining a hormonal balance throughout different stages of life. You have, of course, when you have your periods, pregnancy, and then over into menopause. And I never understood, and it was so enlightening to talk to you, just talking about when you make the connection from where we started and how we did not have a cycle early or any of that until our bodies could act. Because I would think that, oh my God, these little 13 and 14-year-old are pushing babies out when your breasts are not ready, and we're forcing this, and to find out that those, we weren't even supposed to have our cycle early, and now we're looking at kids that are having it even earlier. Oh my God. But then you in regards to menopause, because I often wondered, I'm like, why our bodies got to break down like this? But you're right. We can't turn around and have these babies in our 60s, 70s, and 80s. That would just really be horrific for us. And so how might the carnivore diet influence hormone fluctuations? What are some key things? So normally they say, if you're pooping out, you're fat, you eat, you go poop real fast, you took in too much. But where is, I forget the poop part, my body is what I am trying to keep my hoo-ha moist. I'm trying to do all these different things because I'm turning 60 in July. And
right.
So,
well, your hoo-ha stays moist not because of hormones. It stays moist because of cortisol levels. So if anybody has messed up cortisol levels, they will have vaginal dryness. It has absolutely nothing to do with sex steroids. It's really annoying because you can have a 20-year-old who's going to say they're perimenopausal because they have painful intercourse. It has to do with stress hormones. All mucus-bearing tissue needs iodine, by the way. And if you have high cortisol or low cortisol, your mucus-bearing you will have you can have dry eyes, dry vaginal tissue, vulva. That's all part of that. It's nothing to do with sex steroids. Nothing.
Wow.
But
so
how the carnivore diet affects all of this is that's the only way you can eat fat. If you're vegan, you're not eating any animal fat. You're eating avocado oil, which doesn't make hormones. The only thing that makes hormones is animal fat. Women need more animal fat than men do, unless the men have maybe mental health issues or anxiety issues. The cortisol is made out of fat. So if you have cortisol issues, the fat's really important for that. Blood sugar issues, blood sugar, irregular blood sugar, reactive hypoglycemia, crashing in the afternoon, all of that. And you want to be in ketosis, but you got to have fat to make ketones. You can't make ketones out of protein. Too much protein turns into glucose.
I'm telling you, talking to you, I just need to get your books. Okay. No. I got 50 million things going through my mind right now, Dr. Bright. I am not Elizabeth. I really do, because I'm feeling so good on the inside. But when I speak about that, I'm probably talking more of pain-free, that type. Feel real good on the inside. And but my internal, what makes me the woman, I'm so mad at the standard how I live my life, because I've had a breast reduction because of a torn rotor cup, because my breasts were so heavy. I have the gastric sleeve because I felt just so hopeless that I could not only lose weight, but keep it off. The moment that you went back to something that you so-called enjoyed or had a celebratory moment, there you go. It is just like, I know Karen, she does. Let me put that up. You do. You bring up such great points for females, and that's why I want you to be my BFF, because I just want this body to live another 50 years.
Yeah.
But I want it mobile, moving. I just did play basketball with my grandson who's 14. I want to do things like that. And I'm not trying to go to the NBA or anything, but just that movement and giving those memories for them, that is like so important for me. So now you're now just talking to me. I kind of told you about, well, we got my iodine going, and we get this one off my finger. So we got my iodine going, and I think this is going to help tremendously. I share with you the hysterectomy. I've shared with you this gastric sleeve. I share with you my age. Give me a regimen for the day. We're going to do one day at a time. So I got this. I'm putting my 4 drops currently in the water that I'm drinking. Does it need to be room temperature water or just water, or it doesn't matter? Okay. All right. So I don't want to stick it to the ice or something crazy. All right. So we're going to get the drops going.
Okay.
How often should I eat? 80-20. What does that look like? Because keep in mind, my food, I thought I had a bowl in here. I mean, this is how much is covering the plate. I cannot take in a lot, or I'll throw it back up because of my stomach.
It's different for you because you have a gastric sleeve, but it really depends on what somebody's presenting with. People who have a difficulty digesting fat is usually not in your case because you have a gastric sleeve, but people who have difficulty digestion is often because they're missing the digestive mechanics. So you can break down a piece of carbohydrate, a piece of bread, a piece of a cookie on your tongue. Bam, amylase. It's going to be digested right away. It's going to be turned into glucose. Meat and fat, however, have to go into the stomach, and the fat has to go into the intestines, has to be rendered soluble by the bile and on the gastric enzymes. And all that is stuff that people who, for instance, don't have enough iodine or are hypothyroid don't have enough of. Then they have cholecystectomy. Then they don't have enough. Then they get gallstones. So people who have issues with digesting fat, I usually tell them to add eat like teaspoon size pieces of butter or fat throughout the day. Doesn't have to be all at one meal.
Okay. Okay. See, so for I'm gonna get it. And right when, honestly, I think right when I feel I'm getting it, then life gets me busy. And then I stop and I say, oh my God, what did I eat today? What did I eat today? I'm like in a panic because I know that I did not take in enough. But what I can do is get a pat of butter. That
Yeah,
one.
there
I
you go.
can do that and just do it. Even if I can boil some water, put like an ounce of water in a cup, drop some butter in it, warm it up just a little bit, and drink it down. I have to start doing that. Dr. Bright, the top part of my stomach is extruding about double the size of the bottom part of my stomach. What can cause this? It's been like this for
Sounds
years.
like bloating.
Bloating. Wait a minute. They followed up with, I've been trying low carb and keto since 2012 and intermittent fasting since 2019 and ketovore since 2021. No
Mhm.
weight loss. How would
There's
we help
something
this
else
person?
there's something else going on. So don't fast because you're messing up your adrenals. I never recommend fasting. It's not calories in, calories out. It's not if your hormones are not working properly, then if your stress level is to the point where you are in a stress state, your body will hold on to that weight. And fasting is a stress state because it thinks you're running away from danger. So what is extra weight? Energy. Energy to run away from that danger. So fix all that stress and whatever endocrine imbalance or possibly iodine deficiency or even thyroid, low thyroid, and there's no reason for the weight to be there. There's no reason the body doesn't do anything wrong. It's not going to put on weight for no reason.
Mm, I love how you said that. We oh, wait a minute. They got a thing. He says only fasting helps my A1C go down. I'm not a doctor, optimal, but here I think because you sound like me, you did the low carb, you did the keto, you did the intermittent fasting, now ketovore. Honey, carnivore. It's like until you've done that one, even for me, February, I did lion. But my issue, which is not like everybody else's, is the reduced size stomach. That's it. It's like in having that surgery, having those sensors cut off and discarded, that just really messes with me. That I'll go and then I'll stop and like, how am I feeling? Oh wait, did I eat? It's like that. And keep in mind that when I was doing that, I wasn't smaller. So prior to this, I finally got back under 200 January of last year. I got back under 200 and this morning I got up. Normally I'm 139. I was 140 this morning. And so that's why I always say smaller does not mean healthier. So please remove that from your brain. Smaller does not mean healthier. But what I can say is that all of the symptoms that I had in regards to the fibromyalgia, oh gosh, the bulging disc in my back, I think pain was probably the thing that ran my life the most. I literally was on 120 Percocets a month
Wow.
for yeah, for 3 years. 3 years. And then I'm like, it's things start, I don't know, Google, whatever, commercials were coming on, and I haven't even seen these commercials since I got off of them, but talking about the damage that these opioids can do. So now I'm on the phone with my doctor and I'm like, okay, we 3 years in, I still don't want to have this back surgery. What's the next? I've had back injections, just all kind of things. Sleep was horrific. It was more of the waking up, the getting up. It was awful. That's what keeps me carnivore. I have no desire to live one more day like that.
Yeah.
Let me listen. Let me put it to you like this. If I knew that going back and eating the way that I was going to live 5 more years, but if I stayed carnivore, I would only live 1 more year. I would live 1 more year as a carnivore than I would 5 years in what that agony that I was living in, because you saw smiles on my face, but I could drop something on the floor and I'm debating. I'm looking, seeing who's around for them to come pick. There was no way that I was getting ready to bend down to pick that up. First of all, I'm big, so my legs got to go wide open to make room for the stomach and everything to bend. All big people, yeah, we have it, and we stay like that, and I don't understand it. He's at optimal. So now he says that because I don't like ignoring people. Where show it? It's not showing. Oh, none of them are popping up right now. All right. So what cortisol tests is best to do? My doctor.
Salivary cortisol test. No, the AM is not. It can't be blood. Blood is not going to help anybody because you can't do any steroid hormone test with blood. It always has to be saliva. And you should do it 4 times during the day because you want to see how the curve is, because you want a lot of cortisol in the morning, your body to produce it in the morning. Then it has to go down at night so you can sleep. So if you're off that nice curve, there'll be issues.
Okay, so is this something that a doctor, or these are tests that we
You
could
can
actually
do a home test kit. You can order it on your own. In the US, they have ZRT. It's a stress test, or it's a home test. You don't have to have a doctor do it.
Okay, I wrote that down too. Misty, I've already asked your questions. This is the young lady that popped in here. The first one that I read, the swollen ankles, and we've addressed that, Misty. And so, all right, Brenda, go back to work. There you go. So for me, I am going to, I keep saying I'll set my clock to remind me, but you are talking about these butter pats, and I think that I can do, so goal. Do I need to eat a stick a day? What is it?
How tall are you?
5'3",
No.
140 pounds.
Yeah, no, you don't need a stick a day. I'd say, eat 3/4 of a stick.
3/4 a stick of butter a day.
1/2 to 3/4 of a stick.
Yeah. Okay. Half.
Depending upon your stress level.
Really, let me tell you who stressed me. My daughter. Shh, don't tell her. Don't mention she ain't on here. Yes, it's like even now I'm getting ready to run, go get the grandkids and do all those extra things. So that's but I love it. I'm retired now. I have a really good life. I travel, I YouTube from home, and I get to meet fabulous people like you. I look forward to the day that we meet. We're going to meet in one of these little events. I look forward to it. Girl, I'm going to hug you something fierce. Yes. Yes, Brenda, eating straight butter. All right, last one. Yes, that's what I thought I've done in the past. Listening to you today makes me question cortisols, where it's especially okay, vaginal dryness. See, those are the things, Karen, that I want to. So I'm going to leave this with you, Elizabeth, Dr. Bright. You just did the schooling. I have to put your doctor on there. I'm so sorry. Tell us, 60-year-old and above, what we got to do to keep our hoo-has wet, our sexual libido up, our weight down, and our hormones in order. And I'm taking notes. So I got my iodine.
Right.
Those that don't know, you have to go back and watch and see. We went through this whole test. So
right.
I need to eat. Just talk to me.
I would say 75, 25, 80, 20. I mean, if you're going to the gym lifting weights, maybe 75, 25, 80, 20 would make you have the libido comes from good cortisol levels. Your mucus bearing tissue, which is the hoo-ha, as you said, that comes from cortisol levels. Being in a good mood comes from adequate cortisol levels. You need fat to make energy. Energy is made out. If you're eating a carnivore diet, it has to be made out of ketones. If you're eating so much meat that it's turning into glucose, you're not going to be having enough ketones to have energy and good cortisol levels. I mean, I eat 61, 5, 7.5. I go paddleboarding in the morning, and sometimes I go to the gym so I can get lower down when the waves are big. I start my day with 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter and a cup of decaf. I go out, I come back, I'll have another cup of decaf with the same amount of butter. And then I'll have maybe 4 ounces of steak at lunch. And then I'll have 4 to 6 ounces at dinner. That's it. If I'm busy working a lot, I might have a piece of beef jerky that I make. But that's really all I eat.
I'm a visual learner. So what you just did, and by the way, for those who tuned in, she eats only beef. Okay. So she pretty much aligned.
My husband eats chicken. He loves his chicken with a ton of butter. My husband also eats pork sometimes. I just feel more nourished with the beef or the lamb. I'll also eat, I'll eat the lamb. But I don't have a health issue. I see people who have health issues. I can have an ice cream once a month. It's not going to do anything to me because I didn't do it. I'm not doing it every day. I'm not attracted to fruit at all. I'm not attracted to vegetables at all. But if I travel somewhere and they have this pastry, I don't have an energy issue. I can have a bite. It's not going to hurt me. But if I had an energy issue, if I had, people say the word addiction, there's no such thing as addiction. You need energy. We're addicted to energy. We need energy. Whatever addiction comes from, whatever you say is an addiction, is because your body's not able to make energy properly. And the high-fat carnivore diet is the best way to get you that energy. If there's anything else, iodine, and if there's a cortisol or a thyroid issue, that's really all there is to have optimal health.
That's it. That's where we're going to leave it. There can't be another question. All while you were talking, and thank you for sharing your day, because I said, okay, get up. I like decaf coffee or a tea sometimes. I just need something.
Can't have tea because it's got fluoride in it.
Which
will make you not, those iodine, that's what you gotta, your iodine's not gonna go in your cells.
Well, you just handled that. That's easy. That's easy. So and when I do coffee, it is a decaf. So I can add the iodine to it, I can add the butter to it, and just really And you say, how much salt a day do I need?
A minimum of a teaspoon.
A teaspoon.
5 grams.
And a maximum of, I think I do more than that.
That's by taste. That's really by taste. I mean, your body should tell you. I mean, if I'm sweating because I'm paddleboarding and it's 80 degrees outside, I'm going to have a half a teaspoon in a glass of water before I go to bed. Otherwise, I'll get cramps. But if I'm not doing anything, I'll just salt my meat.
Okay. I don't know. I might have to come on over to Rome and just visit you and we just hang out. Now, look, I'm just watch you all day. This was phenomenal for me. And you guys go back and watch it from the beginning. I thank you. She put in a full day at work. I appreciate. I cannot blow enough bubbles up your butt right now because I'm just so tickled. Thank you. Because after I did well with Dr. Chafee when we interviewed, but I'm really looking for optimal health. I feel that if you have children, if you have grandchildren, if you have someone that loves you, and for
Mhm.
you not to take care of yourself, to be around for longevity, shame on you. If you can't get down on the floor with them grandbabies and don't sound like you 300 pounds and 600 years old getting up off the floor, and you're not doing something about it, shame on you. This body, this was a gift to
Mhm.
us. And even the word of God talks about taking care of this temple. Well, unfortunately, out here, because of the dollar, you can follow it and it's okay once you realize, yes, those commercials, the things over in the store are not good for you, and it's okay because they have pharmaceutical company that can, help you when you can't control your pie hole, that will help you, but that's not quality of life.
Right.
You should want this quality that I am really searching for. Baby, I get excited when I can do these things with my grandkids. I get excited. I get excited when I'm next to somebody else and we went to school together and it looked like you could like be my grandmother. Yeah, it is. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed this.
So,
ElizBright, ElizBright.com. If you want to reach out, I appreciate you so much. Wait, I love doing this part right here though. Hold on, because this is so that's how
oh,
I feel about
cool.
you, girl.
Fireworks. Wow.